Hey, River here with Skeeter Skat in the near the headquarters here in Southwest Montana, and I don't think we have to worry about any mosquitoes today while we're outside. Yes, it is winter, and we are a little bit in sleeping mode, but we will be ramping up production here in just a few weeks, starting in January, for the 2023 spring-summer season. And we are excited for season number 4 with Skeeter Skat. So many people have asked me, River, how Skeeter Skat? Why Skeeter Skat? You are a photographer, and how did Skeeter Skat come into the picture? So I thought I have a few minutes today. It would be a good day to tell you the story. So it all started back in the 90s, so long ago. Can't believe it. I took a road trip up to Southeast Alaska in my small car with camping gear, camera gear, and I just was really excited to see the tip of Alaska, the very bottom. And so anyway, I drove up the Alcan, Alaska-Canada Highway, and as I got further and further up into the interior, the mosquitoes got bigger and bigger. And guys, we've got a decent sized mosquito here in Montana, but nothing like these Alaska mosquitoes. They were small birds. And they were voraciously hungry in spring. Oh my gosh. I learned a thing or two traveling in the spring, in the outdoors, in the northern areas. You are just fresh food for them. So anyway, even getting gas, I would get out to get gas, and they would just swarm. You were just a feast. And I had to actually go sit in the car to get gas. It was that bad. So anyway, finally made it across the border into Alaska. Yay, I was so excited to be there. And I camped on this beautiful small mountain lake. And I arrived kind of late in the evening. And I got my camp stove out, and I was going to make some dinner and maybe a fire. And no, the mosquitoes were just swarming, and it was so bad. I gave up on dinner. I crawled into my little yellow dome tent, and many of them came in with me. And I spent the whole night fighting these mosquitoes, and exhausted. I guess I fell asleep because I woke up 4 in the morning, and it stays light, super late up there. There's barely any nighttime, especially in the spring. And I wake up and I look, and all these like 20 mosquitoes are hanging on the top of my tent, just kind of hanging there heavy. And they were heavy because as the sun shone through their bellies, full of blood, my blood, I exited the tent, and I went to my car, and I was like, I gotta sleep. And there's nowhere to sleep in my car. The passenger seat was full of books, guidebooks, and maps, and I just fell asleep in the driver's seat, just exhausted from a night of mosquito battle. So anyway, I got up that morning, got to go on with the trip, did a nice little hike around this beautiful little lake. And I met a female ranger. And we were, about the same age. We kind of hit it off, and we were chatting, and she's calmly talking to me like, oh, so is this your first trip up here? And I'm like, yeah, it's really pretty, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm looking like a fool as she calmly talks to me. And finally I said to her, what are you using? What brand is it? Where can I get some? My phone is dying. Where can I get some? And she says, oh gosh, no, I just make my own. And so she said, go to the pharmacy, get a small bottle of citronella, get a good sized bottle of baby oil, mix them together, put it on thick. And I'm like, that's it? She says, yes, that is it. So I immediately packed up. I'm like, yeah, the lake's beautiful. Gotta go. So I packed up, went to a pharmacy, sure enough, got the stuff and made it. And guys, it saved my trip. I mean, it really did salvage the trip. I don't think I would have been able to enjoy it without figuring out this potion. So, of course, the one bad thing about this potion was that you're you're greasy, you're slimy. You slather it on, um, and you are basted, like a turkey. You're just greasy and shiny, and it's kind of gross. And you put your jacket on, and you're like, oh right, the mosquito stuff is now inside my sleeves. I'm trying to photograph, and my hands are greasy from the oil, and it has drawbacks for sure. But if you ever forget your Skeeter Skat or you don't bring enough, it is a lifesaver potion, all right? But you should always have enough Skeeter Skat. So anyway, that was the beginning. And when I got back to Seattle, of course, we have much smaller mosquitoes there, but they're still hungry and they still bite. And, you can still get nasty things from mosquito bites. You just don't want to get bit by mosquitoes. So it began the path of how can I make this better? How can I make this more enjoyable and better to use? And was basically the beginning of the story. Years and years went by of different adventures, and mosquito repellent got made into Skeeter Skat up here in Montana the summer of 2014. And we launched it at the Made in Montana show in March of 2020. And that is where it all began. There was a few gaps in there while we were traveling around in the desert. We didn't need mosquito repellent, but that's basically the story. So, of course, there are many more details, but you can read below if you would like. If you have used Skeeter Skat, we would really appreciate a review when you can on the review tab, and just tell us about your experience, and we'd really, really appreciate it. So that's it for now. Thanks so much. Stay warm and safe. And I will see you all in the spring and summer. Thanks.